What's up, y'all? What's up? What's up? How we doing? We live, baby. Welcome to the live Q&A. Your host, Andy Kruger, doing it on a Friday today. Usually Saturday mornings. Had to switch it this week because I had to schedule my French ring training for tomorrow instead of Sunday. So coming at you on a Friday. Not sure how many questions we're going to get on this one, but we're going to see how it goes. If you're new here, you ask me any dog training question you want, and I answer it for you. But please, if you could, include the dog's age, breed, and how long you've had the dog. Those three things at a minimum are really essential for me to accurately answer the question about your dog. Because if you have a question like, hey, my dog's really reactive to other dogs on leash, what should I do? Is it a 3-month-old puppy that you've owned for a month that's a Jack Russell Terrier? Or is it a 6-year-old dog you've owned for 4 years that's a poodle? Those details make a pretty big difference, and how long you've owned the dog. If you say, hey, I have a 4-year-old dog, we're really struggling with engagement, what should we do? I'm just going to assume you had the thing 4 years, but if you say, by the way, I just adopted him 2 days ago, yeah, that's pretty radically going to change my answer. So if you're listening, if you want to drop a question in the future, be sure to include those things. You know, it's funny. One of my most viewed videos on YouTube, it's a silly little healing video. It has over 1 million views. I don't know why. It's from several years ago. But it's a silly little heal video that I did with a German Shepherd, just luring with food right next to me, showing how to start to build the heal command. And I'm bringing this up because in the spirit of the Q&A, by far, my most popular question on YouTube ever is in reference to that video. And the question is, well, then how do you do this with a small dog, LOL? Something along those lines. Because the German Shepherd was probably a year. He was right up to my hip. I was just like this, feeding him. And the comments are going, okay, yeah, but I'm 6'5" and I just got a multi-poo. How could I ever do this with the dog? And I've answered this and I've made follow-up videos, but there's still this question. You want to know the answer? You won't believe it. You want to know the answer? You bend over. Now, it seems a little at first, but yeah, you're going to have to bend over to do this. And then it's like, well, I have a bad back. I'm older. I can't bend over like that. And like, kind of the harsh answer is like, then you can't do this. Take anything. Say you're a tall person and you have a small dog or you get a puppy. You kind of need to bend over for everything. Putting the dog in and out of a crate. Giving the dog a treat when they sit, when they lay down. Putting a leash on. Taking a leash off. Picking the puppy up. Putting the puppy down. You kind of have to bend over a lot for everything. So I think maybe people are thinking, when you see me luring a puppy or a dog in heel with food, they think we're going to have to do this for hours a day for months. This is going to destroy my back. Not really. Do 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, couple times a day, couple days a week, over the course of a couple months. You should be able to fade your lure to be upright at that point. If you're thinking, man, it's going to be a half hour a day, every day, bending over for months, it's not really like that. But you get a small dog, that's going to be one of the challenges. Let's relate it to something else. You go out and buy a big piece of furniture. Big old piece of furniture gets delivered. It's sitting in your driveway. That's got to go up to the 3rd floor of the house. And you have this giant piece of furniture and you say, well, I can't move this. That's fair. You're going to have to call in some help. If you have a small dog and you want to train them to heel the right way, and you go, oh, well, physically, I can't do this. It's no problem, but you got to call in some help then. Small dogs, you got to bend over. Seems like a crazy question, but thousands of those over the years on that video. What do you do with a small dog? You got to bend over for everything for small dogs, and the heel is no different. Now, I'll tell you this, if you're doing everything right outside of those training sessions, that bending over to upright is going to go fast. Your dog has good engagement. You're good at communicating exactly what you want in little bite-sized samples, no pun intended, and you're building the dog up in no time. You're going to go from having to bending over to be able to stand up straight. Probably the other biggest question is, what if the dog's not food motivated? What if he doesn't like the food outside? The harsh answer, well, then you can't do this. Then you can't train your dog to heel the right way, in my opinion, if the dog doesn't eat food. It highlights a much larger problem. My dog doesn't eat food. Why is your dog stressed out of their mind? They're not stressed. Why would a dog not eat food? No good. Dog can't do it. What if I can't bend over? Well, then you can't do this. What if the dog won't eat food? Then you can't really do this. It's the easy answer, but it's not as hard as you might think. But still, to this day, I get the questions about it. Might have to make a follow-up with little Clark. When I train little Clark to heel, yeah, I'm bending over a little bit. And to be honest with you, after I do a little bit of heel, it is a little bit, yeah. Okay, got to stretch that out a little bit. Yeah, it's a little bit like that, but comes with the territory. You want to train, you got to pay to play. What's up? Finally caught it. GSD Mom's here. What's up? She has a high drive working dog problem. Not a behavioral issue with reactivity. Total engagement and drive, but a little barky when her tug isn't around. Okay, let me make sure I understand this question. High drive working dog, barky when the tug isn't around. Will the problem fix itself with constant exposure, or should I address the behavior directly without her tug around? She will ignore dogs barking right next to her if we're training with her tug or ball. 11-month-old German Shepherd I've had since 9 weeks. Perfect question. Thank you. Will the problem fix itself? 11 months old? No. Problem will not fix itself. That ship has sailed. Generally speaking, there's always exceptions. Generally speaking, negative punishment, which means ignoring something, that's going to work pre-teething. 8, 10, 12, 14 weeks. Once you start getting to 16 and above, foundation windows kind of closing at that point. as I call it. And of course, there's exceptions to that. But generally speaking, ignoring something, it's only going to stop something in those puppy stages typically. So no, that's maybe you're an exception, but that's very likely not going to work itself out. In fact, if I was a betting man and I had to bet, I would say that at 11 months old, high drive, that's more than likely going to become a self-reinforcing behavior. It's going to become a pressure release valve that the dog relies on, and the dog kind of vents and self-satisfies through that behavior. So I think it's going to get worse if I had to bet. You need to address it right now. 11 months old is way too old to be doing that kind of thing. Barking to get the tuck. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. You need to effectively convey to that dog they need to shut up. You need to do that. You need to do that via leash and collar. You're not just going to bark, I'm going to rip the crap out of your head on this leash, but you need to apply a form of discomfort when that dog engages in that behavior. And then when the dog's quiet, we communicate, okay, good, good, good. Now, it's not going to go away overnight, but what you need to start today is every time you do that, I disagree with it with the leash. Every time you do that, you experience discomfort. If you keep doing it, okay, that's your choice, but I'm letting you know that every time you do it, this is going to happen from now on. That's where you need to start with that dog. It's leaking. It is your dog abandoning self-control efforts. It's your dog being a brat. It's your dog being pushy. It's your dog being demanding. It's your dog going up to you and kind of shoving you. Hey, hey, hey. Oh, no, we don't like that. We don't like that at all. On top of that, GSD mom, 11-month-old, high drive working dog. You've hopefully seen some of my barking videos. I bet your dog likes to bark. High drive dogs, you know what the funny thing is about them? They like to bark. And not only do they like it, their genetics tell them to bark. So I tell the dog, there's a time and a place. This time with the tug, this ain't the time and place for you. You have to shut up. But I understand you love it. I understand it's in your genetics. So in this scenario, in this training session, not only am I going to let you bark, I'm going to make you bark. And I'm going to make you bark so much, I'm going to take you to exhaustion. And then I'm going to keep making you bark for the toy for a reward. And by the end of that 10-minute barking session, you are going to be relieved. You don't have to bark anymore. That's what I'm talking about right there. You're going to have an uphill battle forever if you just totally try to squash a dog's barking who loves to bark. You got to give her an outlet for it. So you disagree here, you go, hey, no, shut up, don't do that. You're being insane. But here we do it. Several weeks ago on YouTube, the title is, watch this if you have a reactive dog. It's my barking game that I do with Freddie. It's only in a blind. It's a very specific picture. When he sees that picture, he knows he's barking. If it ain't that picture, he knows he ain't barking. And it's not as effective if you just go bark, 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 yay, bark, 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 yay, okay, she loves barking. You want to bark? We're going to bark now. You think you want to bark? We're going to bark now. And when I say I make you bark, I have it on command. I can use my movements. Abwa, abwa, abwa. Pass off, bark, bark, ba, ba. They stop to take a break. Yeah, 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 abwa, abwa. Bark, bark, bark. I push them and I push them and I push them to their absolute limit. And when it's over, they're so happy they don't have to bark anymore. That's how you really control a dog's barking. Take a super high energy dog, a border collie, a Malinois, maybe a German Shepherd. That dog wants to run. Dog want to run. You say, okay, we're going to run. And you run that dog. Maybe it's on a slat mill. Maybe you're on a bike. You run that thing. And you run and you run and you run. Age dependent, safety, physical safety, development's a factor. Don't do it with a puppy. But you run them. And by the time the run is over, they are just so happy they don't have to run anymore. Not only have you satisfied that need, you've satisfied it and then some times 10. The key is you want that dog to experience relief like I did it. I'm done. That's the mindset you want them in. I had a little guy, Ashley, what up? Thanks for being here. Are you on a horse? Ashley watches the lives while riding a horse, okay? She's probably the only one here that can do that. I had a little guy that defaulted to front. So for 3 days, the only time he ate was at my left leg. Then I'd let him front. Then put the food where he was left leg. Then he started defaulting to heel. Heck yeah. The balance, right? That's a tricky balance there, Ashley. If anyone doesn't know what Ashley's talking about with the front, literally the dog sitting directly in front of you. That's a front. And actually, a lot of dogs get stuck in the front. Think about how every interaction you have with them as a puppy, it's in the front. You teach them how to sit. They're directly in front of you looking at you, and it's marked hundreds of times. Everything happens in front, typically. So this idea that now the dog has to be like parallel to you is weird on multiple levels. They want to get in front. They want to look right at you. Tell me one time in nature a dog is going to orient themselves completely parallel with something they're interested in and want. It's not going to happen. If they queue up on a distraction, an animal, a person, they're squaring up to it. Anything interesting, look what they do. Their head looks at it straight on and their body follows. So a dog that's conditioned to do that, it's hard to get them adjusted to that side position. So Ashley did just the right thing. She said, no fronts for you. We're doing all heel. And now look what happens. Dog starts defaulting to heel after 3 days. So that's perfect. To offset that front, you need that default. Ashley, I'd rather have that dog stuck in heel. For sure. But it's an example how training, it's a constant balancing act throughout the dog's whole life. Some behaviors will be really easy for you to balance, almost no maintenance, some a lot. Reading the dog is how you know when to do this and when to do that. Reading the dog. But yeah, I'd rather get the dog stuck on the left side because I know that front will always be there. If I reward that 5 or 10 times, really encourage it, I could take a year off of fronts, that thing coming to the front if I pay him a bunch. That's there. I shelf it. I wouldn't even give him a little bit. His life is healed for a while now. Forgive me for sounding like a wuss? No, I won't. No forgiveness here. It's Friday. Just kidding. But if I train my dog to heel using a lot of negative reinforcement and positive punishment, will my dog just heel out of fear? Even with just negative reinforcement, I want my dog to happily heel. No, you're not a wuss at all. When we're talking about building great obedience behaviors with our dog, they should never, ever do anything out of fear, ever. When we're talking about building good obedience behaviors with the dog, heel, sit, down, stay, come, place, free, bite, out, fetch, bring, out, your dog should never, ever, ever do anything out of fear. So no, that's not being a wuss, that's being smart. If you're applying negative reinforcement, if you're applying positive punishment, those techniques shouldn't create this constant state of fear for the dog. So if that's what's happening, something ain't right. That's not how it's supposed to go. Negative reinforcement should always be reinforcing. Your dog experiences pressure. Your dog needs to figure out how to get out of the pressure, but that shouldn't send the dog into fear. It should send them into problem solving. It should make them really lock in and go, I got to do this to get out of this. Boom, I did it. I love solving problems. No fear should ever come from negative reinforcement. So if it is, then it is being used incorrectly. Now, positive punishment, we're punishing the dog. Pop on a prong, bink on an e-collar. We're punishing the dog. By definition, a dog should not like a punishment. If it does, it's not a punishment. No dog should like a correction. Why would you like that? You sick son of a kid show. They shouldn't like punishment. And a correction at a certain level should kind of suck for the dog. They go, oh, fuck, I don't like that. That sucked. I'm going to do what I can to make sure that doesn't happen again. That totally sucked. But that's where it ends. It shouldn't be, I punish my dog, now my dog's fearful. No way. So I guess that's the whole answer to that. I hope it helps, but there should not be fear anywhere within that basic structure at all. Now, I'm not saying, controversial take, but not really, I'm not saying there's never any place for fear in dog training ever. I'm not saying that. When you own a dog and you train a dog, you make the laws. And you also enforce the laws. Laws being a word for rules. So just take people in society. I use this example all the time, but if you're driving home from work and you're minding your own business and you're obeying every law that there is, and a police officer is behind you, sure, maybe you're thinking, oh my God, am I going to get pulled over? Are you kidding me? Okay, yeah, maybe there's that. You're not afraid. You're not sweating. You're not shaking, generally. You're not that worried about it. Okay, there's really no fear there. What are you going to do? Pull me? I wasn't speeding. My tags are good. I ain't drunk. What are you going to do with me? I'm just going to waste time. I didn't do anything wrong. I ain't worried about it. There's no fear. But if you've kidnapped somebody and they're tied up in your trunk and a cop comes behind you, you're probably going to be crapping your pants. You're going to be scared. You're going to be like, uh-oh, this is bad. You experience the fear when you knowingly broke the law. So there is a place in dog training at a certain level, at a certain time for something similar. If my dog has a recall backwards and forwards, and I'm talking about for years, it is proven time and time again, situation after situation. My dog knows recall like the back of his hand. He's performed it beautifully a million times. If there's ever an instance where I say, come here, and they just go, screw you, and they bolt the other direction at something, they better be afraid of what's going to happen. We're not teaching it anymore. You knowingly broke the law. And when that happens, bad things happen to you, you're going to remember that. That's not good. But for this question, shouldn't be any of that right now. How can I learn my dog to bark on command and stop on command? You got to watch my barking videos. You got to be on the Patreon crew. And the reason I say that is because teaching a dog to bark, teaching a dog not to bark, there are a million ways to do it. Okay, let's say there's 10 ways to do it just for this. There's 10 ways to do it. Each way is going to be effective for a certain kind of dog. Not every way will work on every dog. Every dog's different. So generally speaking, it's tough, but I like to use a barrier. I like the dog on one side of the fence. I'm on the other side of the fence. I have a toy that they really want. I tease them up with it. I act like another dog. I go into play. They bark. I reward them. And we go from there. But you got to watch some of the barking videos because then you can actually see me do it. You have to pull that bark out of the dog. And it has to be for something that you have. Like, well, I can't get my dog to bark, but they're really reactive out on walks, so I could kind of use that. No. Well, he barks anytime he sees another dog, so if I bring another dog out, he can bark at him and then I can reward him. No, that's not going to work. You have to have a toy. You have to have food. Your dog has to really, really want the toy or food, become frustrated that they can't get it, and then bark. What happens when dogs are restrained behind a barrier? They really want something on the other side. They know they can't get it. A lot of dogs will bark. Doesn't work for every dog, but a lot of dogs will. Got to be something you have to bring the bark out. It can't be something else in the environment. Hey, y'all. What's up? Axel Fuzz. For reactivity, does rewarding my dog when he turns to engage with me while another dog is fairly nearby actually do anything? Choosing me over the other dog. Should you mix it with positive punishment? That's a lot. That's a lot there. Here's the truth. Depends what state, what point in training the dog is in, what state of mind they're in, how old they are. It is very true that, let's take my puppy, for example, little Clark, okay, 4 months old. It's very true that if I take Clark outside and I'm feeding him and we're vibing, And I'm a little trainer. Yay, I got a treat pouch. Good boy. And then my dog locks in on a distraction. Let's say he don't even bark. He just goes, oh, a squirrel. And he locks in on it. Whether he barks, whether he doesn't bark, it's kind of irrelevant. He barks on that. He checks back in with me. I go, yes. Boom, 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 boom. Big payments. Is that a good thing to do? Heck yeah, that's a good thing to do. Is that going to work? What it's going to do is teach the dog that got me nothing, this gets me something. Do the math. And even an older dog, there is big merit to that technique. For sure. You're paying what you want. You're not paying what you don't want. For sure there's merit to that. But for a reactive dog that is past teething, generally speaking, always exceptions, that's not going to get you to where you need to go. It can even become a bad thing. Bark, 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 eat some food. Bark, 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 look at you, eat some food. Bark, 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 look at you, eat some food. Then it ain't going to work. Then it's not good. So, should you use positive punishment as well with reactivity? For sure. If your dog is displaying a behavior you do not want them to display, maybe if you ignore it, the dog training gods will make it go away. Maybe if you play the lottery, you'll win. But most likely, you're going to need to add immediate discomfort to the dog each and every time they start that behavior. And that is going to be communication to you, from you, I don't like that. Don't do that. Because at a certain point in time, post-teething, ignoring the dog, it's not rewarding them, but it still reinforces itself. Reactivity is one of those things where it is so dog specific. I can give you a bunch of great advice, but without eyeballs on the dog doing it, it's really hard to get specific. Because what kind of punishment you apply, how you apply it, what kind of rewards you give, how you give them, it's really dependent on the dog's state of mind. Is the dog reacting because they're just like a really external, excited, happy-go-lucky puppy that every time it sees another dog, it goes, woof, 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 I want to come play with you. Oh, woof, 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 woof. Let go of the leash, mommy. Let me go. I want to meet the dog. Is that the state of mind? Or is it, oh, I don't know who you are. Get out of here. I don't like you. If you're just tuning in, you're like, what the hell's happening? What state of mind is the dog in? That's going to determine reading the dog. That's going to determine punishment, how it's applied, when it's applied, rewards, how they're given, when they're given. So just something to think about. My Shepherd Malinois mix keeps attacking my service dog out of nowhere. God dang it. God dang it. You stupid dog. You're trying to make your mom's life hell. Come on. Well, it's Jenning 5068. Sorry, I assumed you were a woman. I thought Jen. I don't know. Whichever. Shepherd Malinois mix keeps attacking my service dog out of nowhere. Ah. Damn it. I haven't read the rest of the question, but I don't like that. I don't like that at all. No one likes it. The hell? Damn it. Once she got bigger than my service dog, she developed resource guarding and will flip the switch literally out of nowhere. Any tips? Ugh. And I'm not cringing at the question. Very important question. I'm glad you asked me. I hope I can give you some insight. I'm cringing at just like, God, that situation totally sucks. Any tips? Unfortunately, there's not going to be like a quick tip I can give you that, like, hey, if you say this, or if you do this, or just train her to do this, you'll be good. There's not going to be one of those kind of answers. I won't even go into everything I would have done differently as far as introducing a new dog into my home to my other dog. That ship has sailed. We won't dwell in the past. Things could have been done different, but it's done. What do you do now? First of all, you need to implement major league lifestyle changes to your German Shepherd Malinois. We won't even get into the service dog because let's just assume everything's fine there. The Shepherd Malinois, I don't know how old. You need to implement major league lifestyle changes. That dog ain't living like the service dog's living. Heck no. That Malinois Shepherd's going into boot camp. No way. Everything's got to change. Literally everything has to change. And this is why I go, oh, that sucks. Damn it. Because it's going to be so much. You're going to have to change so much of what you're doing in order for that to be guaranteed to not happen again. I want to go out on a limb here, but it's a strong limb. I'm probably not even going out on a limb saying this. I'm sorry. But I'm going to go out on a very, very, very strong limb. And I'm going to predict that if you keep both of these dogs, you are going to have to manage this carefully for the rest of the dog's life. It's the hard truth. Most likely, like 99%, at this point, there's not going to be something you can do to where they can be together, they can live together, you can do all the same stuff you've been doing, and there's just for sure never going to be a problem again. Like, that's not happening. That's not going to happen. You're going to need to carefully manage this anytime those dogs are around each other. And you go, oh my God, that's so much work. Not if you make the right lifestyle changes. One lifestyle change you're going to make is a total and complete separation of those two dogs. Andy, for how long? A meaningful freaking period of time. Let's start with a month at a minimum. That's what I'm talking about. You want to see a big change between the dynamic of your two dogs. And I mean, one dog's attacking the other out of nowhere. That's about the biggest change we can want in the dog world. It is top 3. So in order for that big change to take place, you need to make big changes in your overall day-to-day interactions, lifestyle with the dog. You have to make major, major, major changes. So number 1, total, complete separation of both dogs. They are never in the same room together. You have your Shepherd Malinois on a strict schedule. This is the time in the crate. This is the time out of the crate. This is what we're doing when we're out of the crate. Service dogs in the spare bedroom with the door closed, taking a nap when that dog's out. It's a starting point. It has to happen to see a change. You can't fix this problem. You can't manage it and get around the separation thing. It has to be done, so do that first. That's not enough to solve it. You can't keep them separate for 3 months, put them together, and then go, okay, good, we're done now. But more likely than not, that German Shepherd Malinois has been around that dog most of the time since you've gotten it. They're out together like a lot. So we really need to make up for lost time, because that definitely wouldn't have been happening if it was my dog and I brought it home. It wouldn't be like, you guys are friends now, get used to it. Wouldn't have been that at all. So yeah, the separation isn't enough, but you have to start there. Now, throughout that time where they're totally separated, you're taking Shepherd through a major league training program. I'm sure you've done some training with the dog. You have a service dog. You're no stranger to training. I'm talking this Shepherd Malinois, their obedience training could be graded and judged by me, and they perform well and they hold up under duress. I'm talking about like professional level, tested training, proven. Whatever training they have now, times 100. That's what you're building in that separation period. Then when we bring the dogs back together, that training that you've built, that professional level training, is going to be used a very specific way to manage that dog's mindset and movements around the other dog. You're going to have to do the work for the dog. You let the dog decide on their own. They showed you what they decide. No more choices for you, Fluffy. I'm going to decide what you do now. Doesn't surprise me at all, though, with the Shepherd Malinois mix. I mean, genetics, dicey, genetics. Not that they're bad dogs, but they're a certain kind of dog. They have certain kinds of genetics that typically don't lend themselves well to like hanging out in the house. Problem free. I'll end here with this question. If you don't implement serious changes and serious training, you're going to get these fights throughout the rest of the dog's lives. And unfortunately, they only get worse. I've had a lot of clients in this situation. They waited years to call me. It always gets worse. It never gets better. This specifically, it'll only get worse. If you keep doing what you're doing, or basically keep doing what you're doing, the dog is too. I hope that gives you some insight, gets the gears turning. You can start to create a plan. Feel free to circle back on any of my lives if you don't hate me from that answer, sorry. And we'll see how it's going. Okay, GSD mom circling back from before. She barks on command and stops immediately when I say enough. Highly obedient. Going through Shield Canine's training program. Good. That's great then. You're a step ahead then. What does Shield Canine tell you to do about the unwanted barking? I'd be curious. It's probably a very simple answer. You need to tell your dog, don't do that. And everyone's going, Andy, are you kidding me right now? I do tell her not to do it. No, 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 no. Follow me here. You need to convey to that dog, do not do that. It's not a person. We can't, hey, I really don't want you to do that anymore. Okay, I understand. The way you tell a dog something is obviously different from a person. I'm not saying you don't know that, but whatever you've been doing to tell that dog to cut it out has not been working. They're not receiving that information. However, you're telling the dog, it's not being received properly. So you have to change the way you're telling the dog, knock it off. Your dog's got to knock that off. But if it is what you say it is, and your dog's highly trained, highly obedient, highly driven, has a bark, has an out, trains with a professional, then this should be like the fastest, easiest thing to fix of all time. Couple positive punishments, we are done with it. If all those things are in place, that'll be super easy. I'm in an open park with 3 dogs. What could go wrong? Just kidding. 1 Belgian Malinois, 2 poodles, and they are off leash. Thanks for the balance training. That's what I'm talking about right there. What could possibly go wrong? Nothing, because they're trained. That's the right answer right there, baby. That's what we're talking about. Yes. Oh, Andy took his 3 dogs to the park, all off leash. What could possibly go wrong? Absolutely nothing going wrong, because I'm handling, baby. Let's go. Ashley's circling back. Default to heel was what I wanted, was great. Okay, we just got 12 chickens. They'll be contained, and I have a plan. But thoughts? Introducing dogs to chickens. I bet you didn't think you'd hear that question this morning. Maybe you did. Here's the first thing you got to do, Ashley. Anyone introducing, desensitizing a dog to a chicken, here's the first thing you got to do. You got to pray to the dog gods. You have certain genetics in that dog. That's the first thing you do. You hope and you wish the chickens come tomorrow. I really hope my dog genetically is cool. Be cool, man. Because there's millions of dogs out there that are perfectly fine with chickens and have never had a lick of training in their whole life. That's just genetically what they do. Hello, chicken. I'm fluffy. Okay, cool. Oh, well. But I'm sure every trainer has had plenty of clients, depending where you live, I guess, that the dog's killing chickens. The dog's attacking chickens. The dog, back to a few questions ago, if your dog doesn't have those genetics I'm talking about, it's a constant management thing. I tell you what I did with Freddie, because right when I got Freddie, we got a bunch of chickens. So all the chickens are in the coop. And what do, Ashley? Our favorite thing? I socialize. There's even clips of this in some of the videos on socialization you can see. I socialize. Have my dog on a leash. I let him walk up. I let him sniff around a little bit. Okay? Now, familiarization. Now, neutralization. No interaction. Now, neutralization. Ashley, I got a food motivated dog. I got a dog that's on a lure. I got a dog that knows a whole bunch of stuff. All of our training sessions are going to be 10 feet away from that chicken coop. Then they're going to be right next to it. and I'm going to show my dog early on. This is like working around another dog. It's like working around new people. It's like working around cats. It's just another thing. And by the way, since I've had that familiarization, I've had the neutralization, I'm not terribly interested in them. That's like the first step for me, is treating it like any other distraction, any other thing that could capture the dog's interest. Now, when you're letting dog, I let Freddie just kind of sniff around the coop, and he just sniffed around and was like, oh my God, what's in there? And he's just sniffing around, and I'm like, okay, perfect. I like your genetic. Now he runs around. He doesn't care about chickens at all. But if you have a dog you go to familiarize around the coop and they start getting nasty, not a great sign. Not a great sign at all. So we got to hope for those genetics. I've established all of my dog's commands passively through play with her favorite toy. Nice. That's it. Nice. There are all kinds of ways to build obedience behaviors. When you say commands passively through play with her favorite toy, I'm assuming like you don't mean free shaping, but you're kind of talking about like letting the dog discover the position, rewarding it, and, you know, kind of making them think they invented it. Kind of a vibe. So that's sweet. I mean, there's all different ways to train commands. Now, established all my dog's commands passively through play with their favorite toy. Great. Are those commands now going to be bulletproof, reliable 10 out of 10 times anywhere, no matter what, for however long? Well, no, but that's a whole different thing. Just building commands, teaching a command, allowing your dog to discover inspiration to go into a certain position. I'm with that for sure. Okay, we got Jessica. 14-week-old German Shepherd. I've been following you as 100% as I can. Thank you. We let her hang out 20 minutes every 3 hours. She constantly puts paws on counters, tables, just to check things out. Advice, don't let her. Next question. I'm kidding, Jessica. No, don't let her. Don't let her. Don't let her. Don't let her. The leash. The leash. 14 weeks old. Yeah, on leash for sure. 14-week-old German Shepherd. Maybe she is on. If you've been following me 100%, is she off leash, Jessica? She constantly puts paws on counters and tables just to check things out. Advice. Check this out, Jessica. When a dog does something, they don't need to be told good or given a treat for it to be reinforcing. So 14 weeks now, I'm sure it's happened more than once, or else you wouldn't be messaging here. For whatever reason, your dog wants to repeat that. Your dog's getting something out of that. Puppies love to explore. Exploring is reinforcing. It's a survival instinct. It's in their genetics. I want to check out what's up here. Okay. Your puppy's liking that for some reason, or else your puppy wouldn't be repeating it. And you don't need to reward it for that to be reinforcing. I'm right there with you with the puppy stuff because, of course, I have a new puppy. And, he's not German Shepherd size, but anytime he's out in the house, 20 minutes, 3 times a day, that's perfect. So let's say I do that with my puppy. When he's out in the house, he is barricaded off in one single room that at the very least, I'm in. So maybe you're doing that, but limiting access, it's like, so here's the room, here am I. You want to go around the corner into the kitchen? Hell no. Why would you do that? There's nothing in there for you. You ain't going in there. Your leash is going to do the same thing. So, Jessica, the key here is don't worry about corrections or no or anything like that. But each and every time your puppy attempts to come up and put paws on something, they are immediately blocked by the leash. If paws get on the counter, puppies won. This is no different than jumping on people. It's self-reinforcing. Soon as they jump, even if you correct them, they already got what they wanted. They already got the reward. It was reinforced already. Proactive, not reactive. You need to block that with the leash. And there's going to need to come a point where you tell the puppy, hey, knock it the heck off. Quit it. But the way you're going to say that is with your leash. Okay, so here's a follow-up on the Malinois Shepherd service dog attack situation. The Shepherd Mal pup is 1 year old, 44 pounds, service dog, Eskimo Pit, 40 pounds. Get along 90% of the time. Shepherd Malinois will get her eye on something and then attack my service dog. She's caused a lot of damage. Muzzle ordered. Don't order a muzzle. Do not use a muzzle for this. Don't use a muzzle for this. Not the right application. I'm sorry. We can use that for something else. A muzzle will make this worse. Service dog's 2.5 years old. I don't like it either. They got along great for over a month before the first attack happened. Yeah, look, I hear you. I hear you. We'll cut right to the chase, not trying to be rude, but I hear all the time, well, most of the time they get along great. Well, they got along great for this long before something happened. None of that is relevant. Now, I know why you're giving me the information. You don't want to paint this picture like these two dogs are just at each other's throats 24/7 and you just have this bloodthirsty, vicious beast on your hand. So I appreciate the detail there, but it actually doesn't matter because here's the problem. I have one dog attacking my other dog. And I don't care if it's once a week, once a month, once a year. I don't care. If that situation's in play, it is just as much of a problem for me if it's 90% of the time than if it's 10% of the time. It's just as much of a problem. Now, the human brain will go, no. Like, it's way worse if it's 90% of the time than 10% of the time, Andy. What are you talking about? Those aren't the same. I'm thinking from the dog's perspective, though. When your Shepherd Malinois comes out, attacking that other dog is always in play. The situation might not present itself during that day, but that's always in play for your dog. You said it comes out of nowhere. So at any time, boom, that can happen. And right now it's still early. Your dog's only a year. It's still early. If you go, it's only over a bone or it's only if they get something in their eye, it ain't going to be like that for long if we keep going this way. I've seen this movie a million times. Trust me. Starts out with resource guarding for a bowl of food, for a bone, for a toy. And it starts that way and it stays that way. Then another situation happens. then another situation, and then you start to rationalize, well, yeah, but because, and you start making these excuses, it's happening. Muzzle's no-go, though, for me. Sorry. I hope it wasn't expensive. Muzzle's definitely a no-go here. That'll make it worse. The only thing you're doing with the muzzle is preventing physical damage to your other dog. It will do nothing for the dog's mentality who's wearing the muzzle. It will do nothing to that mentality that's positive. They'll still attack the exact same way. They'll still go through the exact same thought process. And by the way, your muzzle is a barrier. It's going to create more aggression. It's like putting a aggressive dog behind a fence and having other dogs on the other side. It's going to create barrier aggression. It's going to piss the dog off that they can't bite the other dog. And then when they get the opportunity, when that muzzle's off, oh, they're going to relieve that frustration. You guys came to play today. We got some questions, boy. And I was nervous I'd be sitting here like an idiot with one question, trying to come up with stuff to talk about. Thanks for being here, guys. I hate to say it, Jennings5068, this is major stuff here. That's major stuff. I have seen, when we talk about a dog attacking a dog, dogs getting in a fight or a dog attacking a dog, throughout 17 years of doing this, I have seen this scenario in so many different shapes and forms. And I'm so aware of the damage that can be done that I'm kind of shocked at how blasé people are about it sometimes. I'm not saying you are. I know you're not. You're here asking, you got the muzzle, you're trying to figure it out. But I'm so shocked because I've literally seen cases where one quick snap attack happens and the dog that got attacked loses its eye. Boom, right there. Gone. One eye, gone forever. Boom. It's a Tuesday morning. I get my cup of coffee. I go into the living room. I let the dogs out. I let the dogs back in. I'm drinking my coffee. I'm scrolling through Twitter, looking at the news. Boom, my dog loses an eyeball. Boom, I'm at the emergency vet. Boom, I'm 5K in the hole. Boom, now I come back home and I got to deal with this. Both the dogs are young. What the hell? I've seen dog 47 staples down the stomach. I mean, I've seen it all. So when I hear, hey, my dog's attacking my other dog, I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. The potential for bad stuff here is freaking high. It's a matter of inches, centimeters, millimeters. I mean, no attack is good, but dogs got some teeth. They know how to use them. Ooh, that's serious business there. Once activated with a high intensity start cue, how do you cap that drive to sustain it throughout my routine without flagging or getting frantic? I want freight train energy from start to finish. I hope you're doing IGP. Any other sport, that ain't happening. It's a dog sport question, but I think everyone could benefit from listening to it. I think that about dog sports and pet dogs all the time. Salvatore? What Salvatore's talking about here is some people, before they bring their dog out onto the field for their performance, they cue the dog. They activate the dog. Ready? Ready? And when your dog hears that cue, he knows he's about to go into the arena and perform. You cue him. We're about to do it. All right. And the dog gets super hyped up. How do you cap it? How do I make? I'm just going to tell you. I'm just going to tell you my opinion. Duh, Andy, that's why we're here. Try this on for size, Salvatore. I want freight train energy from start to finish. I don't. Hell no, I don't want that at all. No way I want that. No, I don't want. Now, I'm not saying you're wrong and I'm right. Different dogs, different sports, different things. I'm telling you my opinion. I absolutely, positively do not want super high energy from start to finish. That's going to absolutely murder me in my score. Terrible idea. Activating the dog with a high intensity start cue, I would never do that in a million years with my dog. Never, ever. I walk out onto that trial field the exact same way as if I was walking through the park. Ain't no cue for nothing. No way. I want my dog to be an assassin on the field. I want him to be calm, cool, collected, calculated, vicious. I want my dog to be a smooth operator. Take French Ring, for example. How many points do I get for the intensity my dog has? 0. That does me absolutely no good on the field. Intensity is not judged. The dog executing the behavior is what's judged. When I walk up to one of my jumps, hurdle, long jump, palisade, those are exercises that take a tremendous amount of explosion. They take a lot of energy. The dog needs to be exploding at his max to make his way over those jumps properly. When I set my dog up in front of the jump and go to the jump, he knows what he's about to do. There's a freaking jump in front of his face. He knows what's required. I don't have to tell him, hey, it's the jump. Remember to be excited. I do my hurdle. I'm now walking over to my long jump. It's probably, well, I can tell you exactly how far away it is. It is, how far is that? Damn it. 20, 30 meters away. Say it's 50 feet away. Boom, I jump my hurdle. Honk, honk, full points, Andy. Yes. Make your way to your long jump. Okay, I'm going to walk 50 feet over there. I don't want my dog intense at all. This is the break in between rounds. You're a boxer. First round's over. Sit on the stool, drink some water, recharge. In between every exercise is my dog's opportunity to take a breath, calm down, relax, and prepare for the next task, the next explosion. And we go to the long jump, jump, and he goes, boom, with all of his freaking might. He clears 4.5 meters. I whistle him, exercise over. Now I got to drag my ass all the way down the French ring field to go to the Palisade, 50 plus feet away. OPA. I want you walking in heel so calm. I want you breathing. I want you relaxing because you need to prepare for the next explosion. There is no dog on the face of the planet that has the cardiovascular endurance or even potential to keep 100% throughout a competition. And that's why at the beginning I said, I hope you're doing IGP because that's a little bit different. But for me, with my dog, I want calculated. We're going to be out here for 45 minutes. We're going to be out there 45 minutes. There's 20-something exercises you need to do. So there's 20 windows in that 45 minutes. When we go to this window, explode. Explode. Okay, relax. We're walking to the next window. Relax. We're at the next one. Go, go. Got it. Okay, relax. Compose yourself. Reset. Let's go to the next window. Mission. Boom, boom, boom. Good. Relax. That's how I'm navigating my dog through the trial. The higher drive the dog is in, okay? It's like you fill up your car with gas, you're on full. You get on the highway, you hit the gas, pedal to the metal, and you go as fast as that car can possibly go and you don't stop. Gas going down quick. You go, boom, slow down. Driving carefully, you're driving methodically. That dog's energy meter is just going to go, if they're pedal to the metal for 45 minutes, no way. Just some of my thoughts. I know it probably didn't quite answer your question, but I would actually challenge you just to think a little bit differently about that. Wants versus needs, Salvatore. With a competition dog, any dog, wants versus needs. I want my dog to be insanely high energy the entire time, 100%. Okay. I want a money tree growing in my backyard. But what do you need? This exercise is this many points. This exercise is this many points. Exercise to exercise isn't judged. This is judged here. This isn't judged here. That's what you need. Yeah, so everyone wants a dog that's a unicorn, king of the world, can do it all, high drive, beautiful, control. You ain't gonna get that. You need to figure out what you need and then the kind of dog you have, and you got to work with that. My 6-month-old pup has resource guarding and growls and barks at the older dogs even when they are not near. It's worse in my room. This has caused fights because one of the older dogs is very stubborn. Fun with Mary. I hope you've been on here a minute and listening to some of the previous questions because I feel like this is exactly like the other question. The 6-month-old pup with resource guarding. I don't want to go through the whole thing again, but my answer to Jennings 5068, major lifestyle changes, total separation for a period of time, extensive training. I don't want to get into the whole thing again, but I can tell you this, Mary. If you keep doing things the way you've been doing them, or even remotely similar, this is what you're going to have. And it will positively only get worse. And if you continue this, that dog's going to graduate outside of resource guarding, which it's kind of already doing with the distance. This is going to be that dog's go-to stress management tool for everything eventually. Dogs do what works. And I get nasty, you stay away. I have found an effective technique. And your dog going to use that all the time. You need major changes made. Jennings says, I'm doing all the things you've suggested. Gonna try directed training with a professional trainer too. If it doesn't help, I'll rehome to a good single home. Thanks for the guidance. Definitely don't hate you. Thank you. Here's the truth. Yeah, about the rehoming. I'll tell you right now, dead honest. If you are not up to manage this indefinitely, I'd rehome the dog. Because that's when you got this second dog, you did not picture this. You had a picture in your head of what getting the new dog would be like and what the two dogs would be like together. And you even said, hey, this dog shows glimpses of it, most of the time even. But you had this idea in your head, but now the reality is hitting where it's like, that's not going to be the situation. We've tried it, we've tried it, we've tried. It's not going to be the situation. So if you're not prepared to pivot and live a different kind of lifestyle and change the vision that you had for both dogs, then yes, I would say rehoming the dog, even though it's not ideal. You know, here's the tough part about rehoming. Here's the tough part. In this case, hey, I have this great dog. Do you want the dog? Yeah, I'm going to tell you all the great things about the dog. By the way, they're dog aggressive. That's true. Andy, it's resource guarding. Andy, they play with no, they get along with other. It's just, you know, with the I get it. No, I get it. And details and context matters. It's not like dog aggressive. Oh my God, they're just going to try to kill every dog they ever see. So I know what you're saying. What else is it? It's resource guarding. Resource guarding isn't dog aggression. Resource guarding does not equal attack. Think of the definition. If I'm a dog and I am resource guarding a bone because somebody's coming close, that's resource guarding. It does not entail an attack. To guard a resource, well, if come up and get it, they're going to bite. If you push them into it, follow me here. There's no other way you can describe that except dog aggression. And there's context and there's details, but this dog attacked the crap out of my other dog like a lot, to the point to where I didn't even want this dog anymore. I committed a year of my life and I'm cutting the cord. I'm taking my losses. I'm done with this thing. So you're like, so the dog fights had to be pretty bad. So this dog absolutely has the potential to totally jack another dog. That's not an easy sell for people. Rescues go, it's a one dog per home kind of dog. They do best in a single dog home. That means they're dog aggressive. So the rehoming thing is tough. If you find just the perfect owner, then that's amazing. I have no problem rehoming. That's amazing. You're giving the dog a great life. You're saying, hey, you're not fitting in great here, Jack, okay? But you're going to go to Susie's house and you're going to live a beautiful, happy life there. And the dog does. And you've just done a good job there. You've done what's responsible for you and you've done what's responsible for the dog. Susie's hard to find, though. Susie's really hard to find. And it's like, hey, we have a little bit of a mess here. Would you like the mess now? So it's a little tough there. But if you do rehome, you have to give full disclosure. You really do. You have to give full disclosure. If I'm selling you a car, I tell you all the amazing, it's a gorgeous car. I'm telling you everything amazing about the car. This car is state of the art. This car, look at the gorgeous look. Oh, you know what's best about this car? You should see the interior. The interior is incredible. This is the smoothest ride you'll ever have. The engine's a few days away from exploding, but that's 10% of the car. I mean, it's like for the dog aggression, it's like they could have all the greatest qualities in the world, but that one's kind of a big one for the average person out there. But I'm with you. Keep me posted. To be fair, my male GSD did not like my parents' dog, but after a little while, they were like best friends. Seems to be dog dependent. Yeah, that can absolutely be the case. I kind of forgot what the original thing was. But yeah, where was that? It can absolutely be dog dependent. Some people in your life you get along great with, some you want to slap them. So that can certainly be the case. I got my Vizsla vibration on the shock collar during heel. Now he runs into the bedroom when I say heel or use the hand gesture. Well, Maggie, thank you for the question. I can see you're not a Patreon member. It's okay. Yeah, that went bad. Not how you want to introduce that. There's a lot of videos on my Patreon how to introduce the e-collar. 1, it's never off leash. 2, it's never in a command. 3, it's always as negative reinforcement. I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole here, but I mean, I never use a vibration ever for any dog for any reason. That's my preference. But even if you use the stim, yeah, so you did that all wrong. And it's okay. I'm not trying to be mean, but Maggie, you didn't need me to tell you that. The dog told you. You said, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to introduce a little vibration on the collar." And now you got what you got. And the dog is saying to you, you did that wrong. Your dog is confused. Your dog is scared. Your dog is in flight. You have violated your dog's trust inadvertently, and you didn't do anything crazy mean. You were just wrong with the application, but you really violated your dog's trust. And it's going to take a lot to build that back up. Definitely never use the collar like that again, though. We'll end here on this question. Any sensation from an e-collar, whether it's a stimulation or a vibration, it must be directly paired with negative reinforcement from the leash that the dog knows backwards and forwards and is excited about. There's no other way to introduce it. So we definitely have to go back to the drawing board on that. Does lip licking and all the other fear, anxious, stress signs always mean those things? I feel like the know-it-all behaviorists think they're experts on how a dog is feeling. Yeah, I actually just answered this in one of my Patreon Q&As. Lip licking, yawning, scratching at the collar, those absolutely, ears pinned back, those can absolutely mean your dog is stressed. Yes, those can mean your dog is stressed. Can you have a dog that does all those things and isn't stressed? Yeah, absolutely. Some dogs lick their lips. What if you pull out food? What if they're hungry? What if they're salivating? What if they're panting and drooling and then licking to clean it up? Like, no, lip licking does not equal stress. It can mean stress, but it doesn't mean stress. Yawning, it can mean your dog is stressed, or it can mean your dog's getting ready to take a nap. Ears pinned back, Could mean your dog is in a state of mind that's like, ew. uh, uh," Or it could mean your dog is just out of drive, enjoying a nice walk through the park, just chilling. So no, it doesn't equal that. But one thing I mentioned in my Patreon Q&A on this question, stress is not always bad for a dog. If your dog shows a little sign of stress in training here or there, that doesn't mean you're doing everything all wrong. Little signs of stress, like when not during the learning portion of training, but through proofing your train, you're constantly raising the bar for your dog and their performance. You're constantly challenging them. You're putting them in situations that isn't just a cakewalk for them to go through and do it all right. So there's stakes. There's things on the line. If you have something really important coming up with work, you're going to be a little stressed about it. Guess what? You should be. If you weren't stressed about it, you're not taking it that seriously. So healthy stress is good. Can we put a little bit of healthy stress on the dog at the right times? We then navigate them through it. Oh yeah, we need that. My dog needs to operate under stress. If my dog becomes stressed and they just can't think and perform anymore, I'm screwed. You need to learn, a dog needs to learn how to cope with stress, how to deal with stress, how to work under stress. Same as people. Some people under stress, they fold. Some people thrive. And then there's everything in between. But for an obedient dog that is reliable everywhere all the time, the world out there is stressful. Things they see will make them anxious, will make them stressed. They got to go, I've been here before, a little stress, no problem. I know how to do this. Purely positive dog, they gonna be a big old baby. They gonna be a big old wimp. They can be a big, strong dog who is amazingly well trained and knows a million things. They're gonna be a big old baby when it comes to dealing with stress though, because they've never had it. There's never anything on the line except you don't get more cookie. There's no stakes. It's like you win all the time no matter what. So they're kind of wimps. I want my dog to not only be able to go through adversity, but to be able to thrive in it. GSD Mom says, Shield Canine says kind of a similar thing. Hey, knock it off and move on. Like to give a short, sweet answer. I like to get advice from different trainers. Thanks for a detailed answer. Yeah, and to be honest with you, generally speaking, that's what these should be called. Generally, I know Shield Canine, most of the time, if they're like, hey, do this, I'm probably not going to go, oh my God, what? You know, there's some similarities there with training styles. Obviously, very different, but some similarities there. Yeah, it's like, hey, shut up, let's go. Like, oh yeah, it's fine, don't worry about it. You know, don't make it into this big, complex thing. Just an issue like this. Not everything in dog training is like this complex science equation where sometimes it is, but sometimes it's like, hey, tell the dog to knock it the hell off and correct them and move on. Like, we don't have to plan for this in GSD Mom's case. My Vizsla had a perfect heel, better than my Malinois. I had him off leash, so I started him on vibrate on the shock collar. Now he's afraid to heel in my other commands. He was the best. He was the best? What, is he dead? let me share something with you, Maggie. It's a little bit of a different perspective. I do respect what you said there. Like, you're telling me, like, hey, dude, like, before this, not only did my Vizsla have a heel, my Vizsla had a pretty damn good heel. And I believe that that is your evaluation of it. And I'm not saying I'd look at the dog and go, oh, they can't heel at all. I'm not saying I agree or disagree. But here's a little bit of a different perspective for you. Take dog sports, for example. In every dog sport, there's going to be at least a couple exercises where your healing is judged. Your healing is judged to a certain standard that the sport creates, and the judge is a third neutral party that literally judges heel commands for a living under certain guidelines. So in a dog sport, you compete, you have a scorebook. You have scores in your scorebook. You go to trials, you pass trials. A dog sport competitor goes, Andy, I have a really good heel. I say, okay, what'd you score? And they go, well, I got full points on my heel. I go, oh, okay, yeah. How many trials have you done? 4. Okay. What's your healing scores for the other 3 trials? Different locations, different judges, different fields, different periods of time. What are your other scores? They go, full points on heel there as well. And I go, your dog has a heel. It's literally been judged by a judge that judges these things for a living in a competition set. I know your dog has a heel. Now, for a non-dog sport competitor, it's a little bit more of a gray area because now, Maggie, you are the judge. And here's the problem with that. We're all guilty of it. We're biased towards our own dogs. Number one, we're so intimately involved with every part of that dog and their training. And in dog sports, you are not allowed to be a judge over your own dog. So I couldn't be a judge and go, here, handle Freddie for me. I'll judge him. That ain't allowed. That ain't allowed at all. You can't judge your own dog. That's crazy. I bet Freddie will do pretty good today with Andy on the judge. So when you say, like, my dog had a really good heel, like, I don't know exactly what that means. I know what heel means, and I can picture a Vizsla healing really good, but I just kind of have to guess. And while I believe you that the dog had a heel, one vibration broke it all. That one's tough. I wouldn't be doing, look, we'll wrap it with this. Sorry, Maggie, but I don't care how good a dog's command is. I don't care how good a dog is. If I'm introducing a new piece of equipment like an e-collar, dog's on leash no matter what. No matter what, dog is on leash. You get in the car, no matter what, you put your seatbelt on. But I never crash, I never use it. That's the rule. And the reason I have that leash rule is because a small percentage of the time this will happen. A small percentage of the time you're going to wreck your car and the seatbelt's going to save you. Hopefully it don't get there, but if the seatbelt's on, if the leash isn't on, it's a dice roll. Committing to the e-collar moving forward, the dog's on leash 100% of the time, and it's only used as negative reinforcement. Don't even worry about heel, sit down, stay. It's only used for negative reinforcement. That's the only thing that can change this dog now. My 4-year-old Malinois German Shepherd has outdoor lawn time. He spends it running, galloping around, barking at the birds flying over. Am I reinforcing a bad behavior, or should I not really worry about it? I wouldn't worry about that. That's fine. You gave me the context. You've had some questions before that I've kind of read. Nah, don't worry about that. That's just a dog being a dog. That's just a dog having fun. You know what Freddie does? When I release him out into one part of my yard, he does the exact same damn thing. He running around, he's galloping, he's peeing, he's grabbing sticks, he's chasing squirrels. Squirrel goes up the tree, he's at the bottom, he's barking at it, he's having a good old time. That is just such a different context than when I'm like, oh, pied, assis, giving him commands like, psh, that's just the dog being a dog. You don't got to worry about that. I'm a Patreon member, by the way, Tom from Ireland. I should DM you here and there. The videos are amazing and really worth investing in. You'll save a bunch instead of wasting money on crap trainers. Thanks, Tom. I appreciate that, man. We work hard on those videos over here. You know, I know Patreon, if you're new, you can log on there and go, man, this is kind of hard to follow. But okay, it's a little hard to follow. But a lot of work goes into those videos. A lot of time and energy goes into those Patreon videos. I don't take the responsibility lightly. It may seem like I'll just pull up the camera and fire away. There's a lot that goes into it. So when people tell me, hey, that was worth it, I got stuff out of that, that is like mission accomplished for me. You're welcome. 14-week-old German Shepherd does have a love for hand towels. Who doesn't? Which we've had to put on the counter. She has snatched a few when I'm not watching. Got me, no leash indoors. I can see the benefit now. I appreciate the advice. I worried it would catch on a chair or a table leg. She tries to jump. Thanks again. Yeah, look, puppy being puppy. Puppy being a puppy. 14-week-old German Shepherd wants to bite and play with hand towels. If the dog didn't want to do that, I think something's wrong with the dog. Be like, puppy has no interest in that towel. Are you serious? That's like, then that's like flirt pole 101. Come on, how's that not? So very normal for a puppy. Yeah, look, put the towels away for right now. Put a leash on the dog. Go out and buy a couple specific dog toys that are very similar to a towel in the way they move and feel. And just make sure you're playing with your puppy with those toys, because your puppy came up to you and said, Mommy, I love towel. I want to play with towel, Mommy, please. Okay? And instead of going, shut up, you ain't touching those, you're good, because that's what you did. I heard you. I'm just kidding. Instead, you go, thank you. I will take that information. Now, those are Mommy's nice towels, so we're not going to screw with those. But what I am going to do, so I'm going to go to the pet store and I'm going to get you this little toy, and this little toy. And it's just like a towel, and some of them are even better. And we're going to play all throughout the day with those bad boys. Thanks for telling me you liked it. I'll make a note of it and plan accordingly. Andy, have you ever tried to train your dog to herd sheep, cattle, chicken? I haven't. No, I haven't. I have not done that. It'd be cool. It'd be cool. Maybe when Freddie's retired, we'll see how big of a wimp he is and try it out. But no, I haven't done that. I will tell you, for herding dogs, that is like the venue, the situation, the lifestyle where like you truly see what genetics are all about. I'm sure you've all seen some of the videos on social media of like an Australian Shepherd or Border Collie kind of stalking the cows, herding them, getting the sheep. We've all seen the videos. Is there training involved? Of course, you could say there's some training involved, but that is such a great example of genetics. It's like the dog has it 100%. We just need to kind of mold it and guide it this way, but it's like they got the fire. That's where genetics really, really, really shine through, is with a herding dog who's actually doing their job. When you see that and you're a dog trainer and you get all the calls and emails, hey, my cattle dog keeps nipping my kids' heels when they're in the yard playing. You know, it's almost like YouTube, working cattle dog, send them the link. And you go, that's because you bought those genetics. Why'd you buy those genetics if you have kids running around? Yeah. It's so much fun to be here. Love the lives. Thank you. I appreciate it. Might sound bad, but when I give my Mal a little kick, it's a tap, he absolutely kicks into gear and throws himself into his commands. Can you explain this? And should it be implemented? Could you ever see yourself getting a German Shepherd and doing IGP? You give your dog a little kick, boom, with the foot, and you say it absolutely kicks him into gear and he throws himself into command. You know what I say to that? Giddy up, baby. Yeah, pow, oh, yay. Giddy up, man. Explain it? Well, just based off this, it's like, yo, wake up, boom, okay. I mean, yeah, you're not kicking the dog. You're not like, boom. It's just a whoop. And your dog's genetics combined with their training and their relationship with you makes them respond that way. I ain't mad at that at all. I'm really not mad at that at all. And I am a fan of having things outside of leashes and collars to communicate with the dog, physically touch the dog. Not hitting, not punching, slapping, kicking, okay? But if my dog's naked, no equipment, I want him to know this guy can still reach out and touch me. Oh, where's the remote? I can't do anything. Oh, I'm powerless. No, I like having hands and feet, using them a certain way, not to hurt the dog, not to correct them, not to say no. Let's be better than that. I'm a fan though. Could you ever see yourself getting a German Shepherd and doing IGP? No. If you would have asked me 5 years ago, I probably would have said yes. No. No. But I'll also say I'm a big fan of IGP. If you watch a top level IGP dog put on a top level performance, that is just a work of freaking art to me. That is an amazing thing to behold. It's really a beautiful program. when the dog is trained properly. So I appreciate a lot of aspects of it. And I have gone down rabbit holes and gotten into the weeds about real deal, world level professional IGP training. A lot of similarities to French ring training, a lot of differences. But, you know, I'm a French ring guy. I'm a Malinois guy. If I'm going to step onto a trial field, it's going to be in French ring and it's going to be with a Malinois. Could I do other stuff? Yeah. But that's not my thing. Here's my thing. I'm going to pick Malinois French ring. That's going to be my thing. That's my area of expertise. That's what I do. And the way I think about it is I'm not comparing myself to Michael Jordan. Basketball? Oh, forget about it. How do you do in baseball? How was that? The point being, I'm not a fan of trainers that are like, well, I shouldn't say I'm not a fan. I just wouldn't do it I did IGP. Oh, I'm doing PSA. Oh, yeah, I do a little bit of French ring. Oh, I tried my hand out in Mondio ring. Oh, I do a little bit of everything. I'm not saying that's bad. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but my personal style, I'm just going to stay in that lane and I'm going to do that because to really be the best at something, you can't dabble in other things. Like, you have to do that, right? Maybe some agree, maybe some disagree, but I like to pick one thing. To be clear, I definitely don't want to rehome like at all. I'd rather do the work. I just want everyone to have the best life possible. I'm trying to figure out how to do so is all. I hear you. No, and we don't, rehoming is like, that's the last option, right? So I'm with you. I think you can totally make this work. And in fact, with a different strategy, this might be a lot easier than you think. With how big of a problem I said it was and how much it's major league and da-da-da, that's all true. But if I were to magically wake up tomorrow morning and take your place in life, and now I lived in your home with those two dogs, same exact problems, as a professional dog trainer with a lot of experience, I would say that dog attacks that dog, the resource guard, da da da. Okay, yep, got it. We'll be good. Like I wouldn't be like, oh my god, like it ain't like the dog's attacking me. It's not like I go to give it a treat and it launches at my face, right? I'd be like, okay, separation, da da da, do a climb command, get them around each other, da da da. I know what the first 3 months are going to look like. Okay, got it. So it might not be as crazy of a thing. It's just that's what I'm used to. That's normal for me. For the average dog owner, they look at that and go, man, that's extreme. But, it is what it is. Sup, Andy? Opinion on the Dutch police dog training program. Greeting from overseas. Great question. I'll tell you what. Well, I can only talk about, I guess, the dogs and the training I've seen. I don't know about the whole, but Dutch police dog training program. Those dogs will F someone up. I know that. They gonna F someone up for sure. Dutch police dog training program. We're not gonna be lacking in drive. I think we can safely say that. We won't be lacking any drive. Now, is it the picture of beautiful control that could hold up on a trial field? No, but police dog doesn't need to have sport dog control. It's not a competition. So yeah, I think those dogs are big. I think they're badass. I think they will completely jack someone up. And generally speaking, they are good at their job. Would it be the way I trained my own personal dog? Probably not. I could use a couple things, but probably not. But for that job, I wouldn't want to be on the other end of one of those dogs unless I was in a bite suit. That would be a bad day. Can I punish resource aggression when my dog is on place? If place means all four paws on and don't act like a fool, is that reasonable criteria? Yes and no. I don't know if the dog's going to make the connection because of the state of mind that they're in. I'd probably need more info on that. Resource guarding on the place, like what is happening to where are they resource guarding their place? I'm not sure. Can you punish resource guarding? Yes. Is it going to work? That's another story. This might be irresponsible advice to you, Chris, so take it with a grain of salt. I think it's worth a try once. I think it's worth a try once. I mean, what's the worst that happens? Gah! No, what's the worst that happens? You correct them and then they keep doing it? Okay, well then you go, well, that's probably not going to work that great. I think it's worth a shot. Here's why not 700 with the Dobermans. What's up? My dog stresses a little before he goes on the training field before protection. Good. Good. I like that. Guess what? So is my dog. Yeah. Yeah. It's protection. It's bite work. It's attacking a grown man and fighting him. Whether it's a sparring match or real life, you're attacking a grown man. Okay, this isn't dock diving. Yeah, it's a big thing the dog's about to go do. They're stressed about it. But again, stress, the context matters. You know what I mean? It's stress, but it's like, is a professional fighter stressed in the locker room right before he makes the walk? No matter how many of them tell you they're not, they are. Now, a lot of great fighters are masters at managing stress and channeling it. But you can't get good at that if you don't experience stress. So, yeah, if your dog just walks out there like he's just going out to take a morning pee, there might be something wrong with them. So, nothing wrong with that at all. Thank you for the $5, Maggie. That's very nice of you. Hello, I have a Belgian Malinois. I don't take him out often, and he's become aggressive with people. How can I train him to be calmer and less aggressive? A lot of neutralization training. This is going to be a long answer, but we got to wrap this up so it can't really be a long answer. Here's how we'll answer this. Here's how we're going to answer this. Again, I believe on my Patreon Q&A, I had something similar. Human aggressive Malinois. How do we get him to be calmer and less aggressive? You need to master one specific situation and do nothing until that happens. You need to craft a scenario that you have full control over, that you can replicate exactly day after day after day. So here's a quick example. Neutralization. You want your dog more neutral. How do we achieve that? First, we have to have something that the dog really wants. We got to balance this thing. If it's a Malinois, that thing better have food and toy drive. Are you kidding me? Got to have something the dog wants, but you need one predictable scenario over and over again that the dog can master. So it's like you're training out in your driveway. That's the scenario, okay? And you have your dog on leash and you have a bunch of commands. Your dog has a lure, your dog has engagement, you got a bunch of skills. And in that driveway, your dog can perform all those skills great. You have your neighbor come over and you say, hey, can you just stand at the end of the driveway there? Just literally stand there, don't even look at us. Give me 5 minutes. I love you. And your dog, and you're working, and you're working, and you're working, and you're working. In 5 or 10 minutes, you get engagement. Boom, take him in the house, end on a high note. The difference is now, later that day, he's going to see the same thing. The next day, he's going to see the exact same picture. The next day, he's going to see the exact same picture. You might have to start paying your neighbor. For weeks, your dog sees that exact scenario every day, every time. Same thing. If your dog can't be completely neutral in that context, don't you dare change it. Don't take them out and about, because we know they're going to fail. If they fail that, they're going to fail. If you don't have control over the distractions, over the environment, the dog's going to fail. But too many times, people are working on this neutralization, but the variables are just always a little different. It needs to be predictable to the dog. Hey, Andy, it's been my experience that vibration is far more intrusive than lower level stimulation. I only use the vibration when I'm trying to create a superstition for grabbing bread off the table. Yeah, Paul, 100%. I mentioned earlier, I never use vibrate. Here's the misconception that Paul's talking about. We think vibrate's nicer. We go, oh, vibrate's like dipping your toe in the water, whereas shock is like cranking on hot water right to your face. No, vibrate, generally speaking, there's always exceptions. Generally speaking, vibrate freaks a dog out way more than a stim. Why is that the case? It's a different sensation. Why is that the case? You'd have to ask the dog. But having trained 20 million dogs, that's a real number. I just did the tally. Yeah, I find that most of the time as well. So that's one reason I never use vibrate. But the other reason is like, I just don't need it. And if I'm training a dog for a client, I don't want them to touch a vibrate because they're all going to be giant babies and not want to shock and go, I'll just vibrate. He comes back on the vibrate just fine. I don't need to shock. Bad trainer. I don't want you messing with that vibrate. But yeah, Paul, if you have a situation where like vibrate makes your dog go, ew, you could use that as just a straight punisher. Like, oh, you want to counter serve? Oh, yeah. Depends on the dog. You're an incredible trainer and educator. I've grown so much since watching you. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate you, brother. Don't forget to like and share. Thank you, man. So with the resource guarding on place, Chris says, dog only does it when certain people walk by. Yeah. I mean, Chris, if we're just being real, what kind of dog is it? Chris, if we're being real, that's sketchy as hell. That is sketchy as all hell. What kind of dog is that? Ooh. You know, a lot of times you talk to trainers, and look, I like to be professional just like everyone else. But sometimes you talk to trainers and it's always just this really nice curated professional response, which is great. Not all trainers, but some. But trainers they're dog owners too. They're people too. So Chris, if I got to take off my dog training hat, and me and you are just shooting the breeze and you tell me about that, I'm gonna be like, God, that's sketchy, dude. What the hell? Why the hell is that happening? What's that dog thinking? Literally, not even trying to be funny. Like, Chris, what the hell is that dog thinking in that moment? Isn't that the question? What the hell's going on in their mind? What's making them feel threatened? What's making them feel defensive? Right? Something is. This person don't make him defensive. This person does make him defensive. Why? That's why it's sketchy. It's like, hey, dude, what the hell did he ever do to you? He's going to walk by your bed and you're going to threaten him? That's crazy. Chris, imagine you're sitting in a coffee shop and you got a nice little latte. You're enjoying your little coffee and you're at Starbucks and you're sitting, and then someone gets their coffee and they come and they sit at a table right next to you. And then, Chris, you go, how you doing? How's your morning? Great. How about this weather? Beautiful, right? Okay. Have a good day. And then someone comes and sits at the table next to you on the other side, and you go, hey, if you don't move right now, I'm going to punch you square in your face. And I'm going to punch you really hard. What do you think people are going to say about you? Maybe you think it's a little bit silly, but isn't that what your dog's doing? That's sketchy as hell. I don't care how good he is with who. If the punch on the face is on the table, I want to steer clear of you, Jack. And Chris, this begs the question, does your dog need to be on place around new people? Think about that. I'm not saying we tiptoe around the dog and cater to their every need. It's not unreasonable what you're asking, but if your dog really struggles with it, is it a situation they need to be in? Remember, wants versus needs. And if you say, Chris, actually, yeah, Andy, like he absolutely does need to be because my life is this way, the house is this way, this is why. I go, okay, so it's a need. Or is it just a want? Or are you like, no, no one really comes over, and if they do, I could just throw them in the crate. It's not a big deal. It'd be nice, but we don't know. But consider that about your dogs too. If they have a problem with something, do they need to be in the situation? And if they don't, maybe take a break from it for a while because they're struggling. Anyways, y'all, we're going to wrap it up. That was a lot of fun. You guys totally brought the heat on that Q&A. 2 hours. Let's go. Thank you for being here. Check out the Patreon, patreon.com/Andy Kruger. Real quick, I usually hit the notification bell. If you want to ask a question on the live, hit the notification bell and then it'll send you a little alert, probably like the day before I go live. Even if you can't make the live, if you go to the live page on YouTube, you can still leave your questions in the comments. So then I'll be able to get to those first, and then you can watch it on the replay and still get your questions answered. So don't feel like you have to make the live to get your questions and to get them answered. Usually do them Saturday morning, slight change this weekend, so it's Friday, but it's usually Saturday at 10. You're welcome. Thanks for being here. Thank you, guys. All right, we out. We got dogs to train. Let's go. Happy training, y'all. And as I always say, don't screw it up. No pressure.